Hello, people. State of emergency declared in Rivers State.
The provision of Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State with effect from today, 18th March, year 2025, and I so do. By this declaration, the Governor of Rivers State, Mr. Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy, Mrs. Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the House of Assembly State are hereby suspended for an initial period of 6 months. In the meantime, I hereby nominate Vice Admiral Advocate Ibas, retired, as administrator to take charge of the affairs of the state and the interests of the good people of Rivers State. For the avoidance of doubt, this declaration does not affect the judicial arm of Rivers State, which shall continue to function in accordance with their constitutional mandate. The administrator will not make any new laws. He will, however, be free to formulate regulations and may be found necessary to do his job, but such regulations will need to be considered and approved by the Federal Executive Council and promoted.
Now, you know what that means? A new administrator have been appointed, somebody that might have to do with the military. I think in this case, a retired military person, but he will work with the military. Now, do you know why I said this state of emergency saves Fubara? Yes, it delays the impeachment for a while, and perhaps around this particular time, there will be settlement. I read during the day conditions Wike gave, because for him, it's like he's on top of the game. Yeah. So, what really happened was that this particular state of emergency saves Fubara, though things are not yet going well for him. Because for this period of 6 months, Fubara will not be in power. He will not be in charge of Rivers State. He will be moving like a common man. It is not that he has been permanently sacked, no. But acting like a governor, moving with sirens, no, he can't. Just like the members of the House, they are just all like common people for the time being. I hope this thing will not get to 6 months. If not for this state of emergency, I perceive Fubara would have been impeached in a matter of days. The moment I saw this thing, the way it's going, I know that ever since the Supreme Court, which we know already is manipulated by Wike in this particular move, ever since they nullified the local government election, ever since they reinstated the members of the House who decamped to another party, ever since they asked Fubara to pay certain fines, I knew that things are no longer good for Fubara. And can you imagine the House locked out the governor from coming to the House? Meanwhile, they are blaming him for using bulldozer to demolish the House the other time. I think these are part of what is included in their impeachment plans. So, and even River State allocation is being held. So, with all of this, Fubara has been made somehow incapable of continuing his work, even though he's still the governor. Now, the state of emergency is like a big blow to Fubara, a very big blow. But then it delays that D-Day. And perhaps around this particular time they will settle. It appears Amwevule is very eager to be governor. And now, if not for this state of emergency too, we had there are pipelines explosion already. in some places. If not for this state of emergency, who knows? So, state of emergency is a kind of suspension of that democratic rule and a kind of military takeover. The military will be monitoring the situation. They will be in charge of the state for a while. 6 months is too big. I wish it will be slashed. Perhaps when the tensions are calm, when there is calm, who knows? 6 months is too big. I believe it will be shortened. Maybe the two parties will now be called upon to settle. But Wike seems not to be losing the fight. Wike remains Federal Capital Territory Minister. But Fubara is not governor at this point in time. And the members of the House are not, they are not functioning. Because there is a suspension of all their roles for the time being. So it's not really going well for Fubara. But it delays the day. That is why I said it saved Fubara. Because Wike and the lawmakers are bent on impeaching him, despite the threats from the job. Meanwhile, I have always seen it this way, that Fubara might be impeached, but what will be the consequences of the impeachment? The Ijaw nation are out. They are fully in support of Fubara. And many Igbos, almost all Igbos are in support of Fubara. Wike is alone with those lawmakers who has the power at the moment. But I'm looking at what will be the consequences if they are allowed to carry on. Amefule, the Speaker of the River State House, he is so much interested in that power. And you know that the impeachment is not just Fubara, including his deputy. So Amefule wants to take over and perhaps become the governor full time. And speakers and deputy speakers of the House will be appointed. That's what I think. But it seems it did not really work out well. But suspension of Fubara's role is painful. But then it saved him the disgrace at the moment. Perhaps they will go back and try to resolve this. Tinubu would have acted a long time, but he was watching somebody who is not a governor of the state trying to dictate for the governor. Yes, quite all right. Wike was behind the rise of Fubara. But the way it was done, we have seen several videos and we have read several contents. It appears the commissioners in River State, everyone else is reporting to Wike. And you see, they do this with so much disrespect for Fubara. Almost all the members of the House found their way, they made their way to the House because of Wike. So they are his royalists against one governor. And remember, in earlier videos, we see Wike say, accusing Amaechi of trying to run River State outside after having left as governor, which Amaechi did not do or did not succeed to do. The person now doing it is Wike. So at the end of the day, we pray that there will be calm in River State, that this trouble will not continue, and that Fubara will be returned as governor and he will complete his tenure. After his first tenure, discussions will start, maybe who wins. And you see what Wike is planning. They don't want him to do that his first tenure, because they know what it means. He remaining as the governor with the power of incumbency till the time of the next election, they are afraid. And Wike also has to clinch River State for Tinubu again. So Tinubu allowed things to spoil before getting involved, and that is very bad. Before we go, I would like to read an article for you. Seems like what is happening in River State. They said, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa watched what was happening in Lagos. When it gets hotter, they were siding Akintola. When it got hotter, state of emergency, they picked Awolowo. What do you think? Let me read the article and we'll be out of here. Okay. The article I wanted to read was on Vanguard, but I will not have chance to read all of it. Let me just give you a summary. It said, Balewa declared a state of emergency in Western region after he had supported Akintola to create crisis in the region. Where was Tinubu all this while? That Wike is even using what it's clearly seen as executive power on River State. Where was Tinubu all this while? Now, let's read further on that Tafawa Balewa and Awolowo and Akintola. He said, then Operation Waitie followed. Then the coup, that's the 1966 coup, those trying to impose Awolowo, having seen how Awolowo was treated. Then the counter coup, then the war. Those who fail to learn from history tend to repeat the errors. So Tinubu all this while kept calm. Somebody claiming manager in Abuja, okay, landlord, Abuja landlord. He has ruled River State for 8 years. He still wants to rule River State by proxy, by extension, using Fubara, who is partly a Igbo. And the guy told him, you know, if you crack this nut, you don't do your own, make I do my own. Everybody do in turn. So that is what is happening. Now, let me quickly dissect the video from the president on the imposition of a state of emergency on River State. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has declared a state of emergency in River State, suspending Governor Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy, and all members of the House of Assembly for 6 months. The decision was made due to prolonged political crisis in the state, which has hindered democratic governance and denied citizens access to basic amenities. For me, I think the people that should be punished are people who are interfering. The Abuja landlord, Wike, has been interfering. Meanwhile, let's read reasons he gave, not reasons we are giving. No, reasons he gave for the suspension. Now, one, he said demolition of the House of Assembly. Governor Fubara demolished the House of Assembly building in December 2023, and he has not rebuilt it, disrupting the state's legislative process. But where did they enter the other day that they locked him out when he wants to see them? I thought he has repaired it. Where did they gather that day? Now, number two, he cited constitutional breaches. The Supreme Court found the governor guilty of several unconstitutional acts, including collapsing the legislature to govern unilaterally. Normally, it's not just the governor that is governing the state. We have the legislative arm, the executive and the legislative arm, and the judiciary. So, according to him, they are presenting reasons. Most of these reasons given, the blame is like on Fubara. Reasons given for suspending whatever they suspended. Now, number three, they said failure to pass appropriation bill. Despite court orders, the governor has not facilitated the passing of an appropriation bill, further exacerbating the crisis. Number four, security concerns. Militants have threatened violence, and there have been incidents of pipeline vandalism, which the governor has failed to address. Can the governor really address that particular one? These are people pouring out their grievances. If the other one had been corrected, the governor would have been able to correct that one too. From the way I see it, if things continue like this, with the presidency trying to take sides, the governor may not have the power to even control what is going to happen. He may not have the power. This is what they allow this thing to linger, and this is the problem now. Now, let's look at the key points of the declaration. One, state of emergency. President Tinubu has declared a state of emergency in River State effective March 18, 2025. Two, suspension of governor and assembly members. Governor Fubara, his deputy, and all members of the House of Assembly are suspended for 6 months. Three, appointment of administrator. Vice Admiral Ibokete Ibas, retired, had been appointed as administrator to oversee the state's affairs. Number 4, exceptions. The judicial arm of Rivers State will continue to function. They are not affected. And the administrator will not make new laws without federal approval, without approval of Federal Executive Council. We had that in. So this is all about President Tinubu's speech this evening regards the imposing state of emergency in Rivers State. Now let's see some few other reactions that we out of here. This is people's reaction. Somebody wrote, Tinubu has lost it. The state of emergency in Rivers is a joke. It is a deliberate attempt at political hijack of the state for 2027. 2027 is around the corner. All politics, it will be heated up 2026, and we're just in 2025. Sooner, by 2026, stockpile of political plays. So that is what this person is saying. Now let's read further what the person is saying. He said, it is as desperate as it's risky. River State has been peaceful. All the trouble was engineered by his man, Wike now, so. The people of River State must stand up and reject this. This is ridiculous. Nobody was killed. This is outstanding. Same Tinubu reversed an entire Lagos House of Assembly on their impeachment of Obasa. Tinubu reversed it. Tinubu is not a deity. The people of River State cannot allow their democracy be suspended because the governor refused to be Wike's puppet. Of course, Wike wanted to dictate. The governor claimed there's a particular point in time he could not even ask about contracts awarded. He doesn't have the right. All reports goes to somebody who is now a federal capital ministry, who has done his 8 years. They are still reporting to him, contractors, everybody, commissioners, house members, which we know he manipulated and made them house members. So the governor refused to be his puppet. Now the person continued to write. He said, this stupid state of emergency was declared to perpetuate a state capture. The governor is suspended and Wike continues working in Abuja. That is what I said earlier. The governor is suspended. He's not doing his work. But Wike is still a federal capital territory minister in Abuja. Nigeria, is this how low you have fallen? Well, now so he now wrote, my country, I weep for you. Tinubu is a tyrant. Buhari never declared a state of emergency. Not even when all the crude pipelines were blown. No, Tinubu, you can't do this. Look at Tinubu, who is masqueraded as a Nadeko activist. Can you imagine? Nadeko days. These are people who, they are supposed to have learned their lessons. Okay. Suspending democracy in a state on a whim. No. The opposition and civil society should reject it. The people must stand against it. Nigeria, you deserve better than this. This was written by Ugo Ebujo. So people are actually opposed to the state of emergency.